Okie dokie. Well, we're going to get started. And the first thing I want to talk to you girls about is I want to review a little bit about the difference between the subject of a paper, of a report, and the topics. So we've talked about this before, but a possible subject could be dogs. And raise your hand if you have a dog at your house. And you both have dogs. It looks like Lizbeth has 2 dogs. How many dogs do you have, Harmony? You can show me on your fingers.
2.
2. You both have 2 dogs, and I have 2 dogs also. So we know a lot about dogs, huh? Let me check my message here. Oh, okay. So Valentina is not going to be able to come. That's okay. That would be an example of a subject. But then if I were to ask you topics about dogs, it could be the types of dogs. It could be like, I have a Rottweiler Lab mix, and then another dog, and she's kind of a mutt. Have you ever heard of a mutt before? You know what a mutt is? A mutt is a dog that has a lot of different breeds in there. It's not identifiable. So it's kind of a mix of a lot of different types of dogs. So, but that could be a topic, is maybe a Chihuahua or a golden retriever or some kind of breed. It could be another topic, could be what dogs eat, like their diet. And you guys probably give your dogs dog food. That's what I give my dog. And another one could be, let's see, their habitat, what kind of place they like to live in. Most of dogs live in our homes or our backyards, but that's an example. Another example of a subject could be Disneyland. Raise your hand if you've been to Disneyland before. Yay, okay. So what are some things about Disneyland that you could write about? What's a topic that you could, if the subject was Disneyland, what's a possible topic you could write about Disneyland? Got any ideas?
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse, perfect. Mickey Mouse, that's a perfect topic. You have an idea, Elizabeth? Something about Disneyland. Stitch, yeah. What about the rides at Disneyland?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they have like Pirates of the Caribbean ride, and what's another ride that you know at Disneyland?
Many rides? You're young. Can you say another ride?
Go ahead, Harmony.
Runaway Railway.
Runaway Railway?
Yes.
Yes, I don't remember that one, but I've heard of that one before. How about you, Lizbeth? What's another ride?
The Toy Story roller coaster.
The Toy Story roller coaster, that's a good one. There's the haunted house one. Remember that? And let's see, Roger Rabbit. I think they still have that one. That's a ride.
Pirates of Caribbean.
Yes, Pirates of the Caribbean is probably my favorite. I think that's a fun ride on the water. So those are examples of topics for the subject Disneyland. Did you have one more, Lizbeth? Go ahead.
The little teapots that go in the circles.
The teacups, yes, that's a good one.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's not my favorite, but I know which one that is. Hi, Jana.
Fun if you're under 10.
We're talking about the how to determine topics based on a subject, because remember, the subject is the main thing you're writing about, and then the topics are the parts about that subject that you write about. So we're talking about Disneyland. Have you been to Disneyland, Jana? Okay, what's your favorite ride at Disneyland?
I'm not actually that sure.
You're not sure? That's okay. But we were just talking about Pirates of the Caribbean and the teacup, the teacups. and then a couple of other Toy Story ride. So those could be possible topics. And then another example, what if your subject is the beach? Raise your hand if you've been to the beach before. Have you been to the beach? Oh yeah. So what's a topic about the beach that you could write about? Something about the beach.
And castles.
Sandcastles, good one. Yes. What else? Lizbeth?
Swimming in the water and surfing.
Swimming in the water and surfing. Good. How about you, Jaina?
The waves.
Good. The waves. Lizbeth, you have another one?
Finding shells.
Shells. I was thinking that. Yep. So lots of things you could write about the beach. And those would be like the topics. The subject would be beach, California beach, and then the topics could be each one of those things like the examples that you guys shared. Okay, so your homework this last week, the subject, the big part, is about deserts, right? And then you wrote one topic, and your one topic was the Sahara Desert. And that was one of your paragraphs. You wrote the first paragraph of your report on deserts. Today, we're going to talk about a different desert. But before we do that, I wanted to know if anyone would like to share their paragraph with the class. Would you like to read the paragraph you wrote for your homework to the class? Okay, good. Harmony, I see your hand. You can start whenever you're ready. You can read us your paragraph.
It's not.
The Sahara Desert is the largest hot desert in the world. The Sahara stretches from the Atlantic Ocean to the Red Sea. It has seas of sand called ergs. The climate is severe because temperatures can reach in 120 degrees. There is some underground water which can cause a green oasis. The creatures live an amazingly long time without water. Avoiding the heat, some animals live underground during the day. Gazelles, ducks, and camels roam the dunes.
Nice. Very good. Let's give her a hand motion like this. And clap. Good job, Harmony. I love it. That was a lot of information. You're welcome. And then does anybody else want to read their paragraph to the class? Elizabeth's like, no, thank you. Do you want to, Jaina? Okay, we'll hear Jaina's whenever you're ready.
I'm not all the way completely done, but I just have one more sentence to finish. But
Okay.
I'll read you what I have. So,
Okay, that sounds good.
the Sahara is the largest hot desert in the world. It is as big as the whole African Atlantic Ocean. The climate during the summer temperature goes to 120 Fahrenheit. When water runs underground, it makes an oasis. The creatures that live in the deserts can live long periods of time without water, avoiding the drastically hot heat in the animals. The animals stay in their burrows because it's cooler.
Nice. Is that the last sentence?
Yeah.
Good job, Jaina. Very nice. I like your paragraph. It's very good. So here's what I'm going to have you guys do. And I know, Lizbeth, it looked like you were still working on yours, right? You still have some things to write. That's okay. Yeah. It looks like you have a lot left to write. That's okay. So I'm just going to ask Harmony and well, let me show you this on Zoom here. The checklist. Just reviewing this really quick with you. This is the checklist for the report about deserts. That's what we're talking about this week again. But if you look down here under the dress ups, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 words that you should have in your paragraph. So I want you to look at your paragraph, both Harmony and Jana, and see if you have 4 words underlined. If you do, give me a thumbs up. How about you, Jana? I know, Lizbeth, I know you're still working on yours. Jana, okay, so do you have any words underlined yet, Jana? Okay, how many do you have so far underlined? 2. So tell me the words you have underlined.
Drastically and because.
Oh, you do have
Okay,
one.
good. And I know you're still finishing up your last sentence, but I heard a couple of good strong verbs in there. I think you already have one. You could probably just underline one of those. Do you see any verbs in there that you could maybe count as a strong verb? Trying to think of one that you said. So look for an action word, basically, is what I want you to do.
Yeah.
I think toward the end when you were talking about the animals.
Avoiding.
Yes, avoiding. Yes, good one. Yep, that's a good strong word, strong verb. Okay, and then you might need to add a who or a which.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can add that with your last sentence. But and then the other question I have for you two girls is, how about your topic and clincher? Did you remember to highlight or bold 2 or 3 keywords from your first sentence and your last sentence? If you did, give me a thumbs up if you did. Oh, good. Good, Harmony. I see that. Jana is kind of like, not sure, huh? Okay, that's okay. I'm going to review that with you. I know that's kind of a new thing. Last week we talked about it. You remember when I had you guys do this and you copied me? Let's practice that together really quick. So I want you to put your hand like this up at the top here. And I'll say it and then you copy, okay? So the topic sentence.
The topic sentence.
And the clincher sentence.
The
And the
clincher
clincher
sentence.
Must
Must
repeat or reflect
or reflect
repeat or reflect
2 or 3
or
2 or
3
3
key words.
key words.
Yes, very good. Okay, nice job. So that means you have 2 or 3, and you guys know what keywords are now. Those are the important words in the sentence, right? Not words like the or it or and. Those little words are not keywords. But if you have words like desert or Sahara or world, a word like that, those would be considered keywords. And you want to either use the same word in the beginning or in the end sentence, or a word that's kind of close to it. Okay. So I saw Harmony give a thumbs up that she has hers highlighted or bolded. So what words do you have, Harmony, that are your keywords in both your topic sentence and your clincher? What words do you have highlighted there?
You don't have a clincher.
I don't have a clincher.
Okay. You don't have a clincher, but you do have the topic sentence. Is that right? Do you have words highlighted there yet?
No, we didn't
Sad.
highlight.
I think I didn't mean to give you some.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
I'm
So I'm
sorry.
going to show you guys an example here. This example is this example I got through the website. So this is not one of my students, but here I wanted to show you an example report about deserts. So this student's name is Joshua. Like I said, he's not in my class, but this is an example that they shared on the website. And he titled it Dangerous Deserts, which you're going to come up with a title this week because you're going to work on your last paragraph this week. But I want you to focus just on this first paragraph right here, because this is the one about the Sahara Desert. So I'm just going to read it to you. It's going to sound very similar to Harmony's and Jana's. And Lizbeth, you can get some ideas too from this one. So the Sahara Desert is the largest, hottest desert in the world. It consists of sand seas called ergs that constantly change shape. The temperatures in the Sahara are so severe they could reach over 120 degrees Fahrenheit. The Egyptians were a civilization that lived near the Nile River, which flows through the Sahara Desert. Because of this, they were able to survive the extreme heat. Since there is so little water, only about 70 kinds of animals can survive. They live in burrows and drink water from the food they find at night. Camels, which are used for transportation, can survive an entire week without water in the Sahara Desert. Now, this student is missing a couple of things, like some periods in here. So it's not a perfect paper, but they wanted to share this because you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 words underlined. Those are the 4 dress-up words. And then I want you to notice how right here, Sahara Desert is in bold. And then if you look at the very last sentence, Sahara Desert is in bold. That's because that's the topic clincher rule. So it means this first sentence is the topic sentence. This last sentence is the clincher sentence. And like our little saying, you want to either repeat the same words or reflect, which means almost the same, but a little bit different in each of those sentences. So technically, this person, Joshua, has Sahara Desert and Sahara Desert. So you might already have those 2 words, Harmony, in your topic and clincher. You might already have it. And if it's handwritten, you can put a box around it or use a highlighter, either way. But did you find those in yours, Harmony? Sahara Desert?
Yes.
Okay, good. So you can count those as your
The
top.
last sentence didn't have it.
Okay, so that's good example too. You guys can probably figure out where to put that in to tie it in. So the whole point is to tie in so it clinches the reader. So you're tying in from the first sentence and the last sentence. And looking ahead here, they did that with this one. We're going to read about the Gobi Desert in a little bit. And they did that here too. They have Gobi Desert as their topic clincher here and here. So they repeated, and that's fine. That's probably easier to do that to start because this is kind of new for you girls. Okay. So any questions about that? Do you guys have any questions about the topic clincher? Jana's no questions. Okay.
Nope.
Okay, good. So from here, let's look at the next source text, which is the Gobi Desert. And we got that out of your binder last week. So you should have it in the front of your binder. And it's an article about the Gobi Desert. This one is page 75. Sorry about that. Page 75. Okay.
Must be over here. We don't.
Let's see, how am I going to do this here? Let's go ahead. I'm just going to read this straight through first. There's nothing on the back of the page. It's just these 3 paragraphs. So we're going to start by just reading it straight through, and then we'll talk about it. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you have this in front of you, the Gobi Desert. Okay, good. I see that, Harmony. Good, Jana. Lizbeth looks like she's looking for it. Got it? Did you find it, Lizbeth? Okay, good. I'm going to just read it. You follow along on your page, okay? It's called the Gobi Desert. A desert is an area where little rain or snowfall occurs, so conditions are hostile to life. Certainly, this definition fits the Gobi Desert, a cold desert. The Gobi stretches across southern Mongolia and northern China. Because the towering Himalaya mountains block clouds from bringing rain to the Gobi, less than 10 inches or 25 centimeters of moisture fall there per year. The Gobi's features are unique. Within the region are Magnolia's spectacular flaming cliffs, called so because they appear reddish. There, the first known fossilized dinosaur eggs were found. Other fossils, including the claws of a velociraptor, there we go, Mongolinus, and a complete Protoceratops skeleton. On another day, one might hear the sand sing. And I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Ongori, I'm going to guess, Hongari, Els, meaning singing sands, is a site where conditions allow the wind to buffet the sands and produce an eerie roaring note. Animals of the Gobi are rugged. Musk oxen, rodents called gerbos, Mongolian donkeys, wolves, and the rarely sighted snow leopard survive in that harsh climate. The critically endangered wild Bactrian camel is a particularly adaptive animal. It can live and reproduce in radioactive hot zones, tolerate extremes of temperature, and even drink salt water. Interesting. Well, we kind of know a little bit about Bactrian camels, don't we? Didn't we study about camels a while back? Yeah, I remember that name. So that's all about a little information really about the Gobi Desert. I noticed that it's cold. Did you notice that too? Because when I think of desert, I think of hot, like the Sahara Desert. Yeah. Like 120 degrees is not fun to be outside, for sure. So this desert, the Gobi Desert, is the opposite of that, but it's still called a desert. Okay, so remember this from last week, your outline. I'll show you. And yours is all filled in now because you did this as part of your homework here. So you have words here too, but see if you can find this page where we started. Yes, good. We started the outline. And now we're going to keep going because now we're working on the second paragraph. And the second paragraph is about the Gobi Desert. So on this page, I want you to skip 2 lines, skip. And then I want you to go ahead and write in a Roman numeral 2. And then 1 through 6, like we have up above there. Okay, and before we get too much farther into that, I want you to put topic right here by the Roman numeral 2, and then right here by the 6, we're going to put clincher. That's just a note to remind you that the topic sentence is that first sentence, and the clincher sentence is the last sentence. And that's where we need to make sure some of those words match, either repeating or reflecting 2 or 3 key words. Okay. Now, we already wrote about the Sahara Desert. This time we're writing about the Gobi Desert. So let's go ahead and put that in here. Gobi Desert. That's what we just read about.
Write down one line down.
Okay. Now the Gobi Desert is different than the Sahara Desert. We've already figured that out a little bit here. So what's a word that we could put here to describe if we had to just pick one word to describe? See how we have here, we have largest and hot. What's one word that we could describe about the Gobi Desert? Do you have any ideas? You can raise your hand if you have an idea. Okay, Lizbeth, what's your idea?
Cold.
That's what I was thinking too.
You said it.
Cold. Because I did notice that we pointed that out earlier. The Gobi Desert is actually cold. So remember, a desert is a lot of sand and not very many trees in a desert. It's usually not a whole lot grows there. And it's a lot due to the fact that there's very little rain that happens there. And I know a couple of you live in Bakersfield, and you know, Bakersfield doesn't get a lot of rain, and Tehachapi gets some, but not a lot. So really this whole area is considered a desert, but we have lots of trees still. And a big part of it, especially in Bakersfield, is because we have sprinklers, don't we? We have hoses and sprinklers, and we have ways to water our trees so that they'll grow. But if we didn't, there wouldn't be as many trees around. So in this desert, the Gobi Desert, they don't have sprinklers and they don't have rain. So there's not a lot of trees that grow around here. And that means there's not a whole lot of animals either. So that's really how we define a desert. Not very much rain at all on the desert. Okay. So now that we got our topic words here, we already have our 3 words. We're talking about the Gobi Desert and that it's cold. Now what we're going to do is together, we're going to pick 6 facts about the Gobi Desert. And then those facts become your details in your paragraph. And remember last time we underlined information to put in our outline. That's what we're going to do again. And we're looking for things that are interesting, because if you think they're interesting, your reader will probably think they're interesting. So we got to come up with 6 things to put in our outline for our report. Get my marker here. So let's just look at the first paragraph. Oh, my marker. I have to use this blue one, I guess, for now. Okay. Looking at this first paragraph here, and you know, there's 3 paragraphs total, and we need 6 things, 6 facts for the details. So really, we could narrow it down and find 2 that we think are interesting in each paragraph. So let's just focus first on the first paragraph here. if you saw something interesting in that paragraph, raise your hand and tell us what it was about the Gobi Desert. What's something interesting that you read in that first paragraph? Do you find anything interesting in there?
Himalayan mountains, block clouds. That's kind of cool. Big M. I don't know. She's asking. What do you think is interesting? What do you think is interesting?
Himalaya
What do you?
mountains,
Is that what you think
block
is interesting?
clouds. Bring rain to the Gobi.
I agree with that. That's interesting to me too, because I wondered why, but that makes sense that the clouds, so she's right here. It says the towering Himalaya mountains block clouds from bringing rain to the Gobi. So we can underline that part of the sentence starting right here where it says Himalaya mountains block clouds from bringing rain to the Gobi. So it tells me because those mountains are so huge that it won't let the clouds in. So it keeps the clouds from coming because obviously the clouds bring rain, right? Okay, so that's a good one. Is there another one in here that you thought was interesting? How about you, Jana? Did you see any other facts in this paragraph that were interesting? Do you have this? Oh, go ahead, Jana.
It stretches across southern Malinga and the North China.
China, yeah. So that's Mongolia. I agree with that. Let's underline right here where it says stretches across southern Mongolia and northern China. And do you have yours in front of you, Jana? Did you find it? Oh, good. Okay, so make sure you underline it. So now we're going to label these, and I'm just going to put a 1 right here by stretches across southern Mongolia and northern China. And then I'm going to put a 2 right here by Himalaya mountains block clouds from bringing rain to the Gobi. Notice this time I didn't underline the whole sentence because I wanted to tell you that sometimes there's more than one fact in a sentence. And so you can underline just part of a sentence to grab that fact. So these are 2 great facts to start with about the Gobi Desert. And that's all we need from that paragraph. So now let's look at the middle paragraph right here. This part here. And we need 2 interesting facts from this paragraph. Let's see if Lizbeth, can you find something interesting in that paragraph?
That there was eggs and bones found in there in the Gobi Desert.
Yes, I like this part. It's really interesting. The first known fossilized dinosaur eggs were found. So let's underline that right here. The first known fossilized dinosaur eggs were found. And that is interesting. And that word fossilized, does anybody know what fossilized means? Go ahead, Lizbeth. What does that mean?
It means that when something dies, it gets buried and the bones come out.
And the bones come out, and sometimes it leaves an impression, right, on a rock or some other surface in the ground like that. Yeah. Like footprints. I see you doing some sign language. She's like this. I knew what that meant. Jana, did you want to say something about that?
Well, I know another thing to underline.
Oh, good. Okay, tell us another thing.
On another day, one might hear the the sand singing.
Yes, I agree with that. Right here, on another day, one might hear the sand sing, and it kind of goes into a little more detail here, talking about singing sands is a site where conditions allow the wind to buffet the sands and produce an eerie, roaring note. So I'm thinking that we can start that fact right here. Singing sands. And then underline the rest of that. I like that too, Jana. That's a good one. So now we have 1 and we have 2. Let's put 3 for this one. And then 4 for this one. So there's some other facts that are in there. You probably saw that. They're talking about these cliffs, and then they're talking about other skeleton bones and stuff like that. Those are kind of interesting facts, but remember what we're doing is taking a lot of facts and narrowing it down to what we think is the most interesting. Eventually, you're going to be deciding this on your own for your own paper, but we're still practicing this together because it's kind of new for you. But that's what you do. You go through and go, yeah, that's kind of interesting, but oh yeah, that's really interesting about the singing eerie sounds that the sand actually sings. I mean, that's kind of cool. So I agree. So when you're looking for facts, that's what you're doing. You're trying to find the things that are interesting to you. So now we have 4. We just need 2 more. Let's look at the very last paragraph down here. And just kind of glance at it, and you can remember what it says. And then I want you to tell me if you see any interesting facts that you want to include on the report. If you see anything interesting in that last paragraph.
Never.
If you find one, you can raise your hand and tell me what it is. Got one, Jana?
Yeah.
What do you think?
The wild
Uh-oh, I can't hear you all of a sudden. Maybe turn toward the, there you go, turn toward the computer.
The wild Bactrian camel.
Yes. The critically endangered wild Bactrian camel is a particularly adaptive animal. And what fact, do you like this fact here that says it can live and reproduce in radioactive hot zones? That's kind of cool. So let's do this for that one. Let's underline wild Bactrian camel. And then maybe this part right here, radioactive hot zones. That's kind of cool. So it lives in radioactive hot zones. That's kind of a cool. So wild Bactrian camel and radioactive hot zones, that's where it lives. So that would be an interesting fact. I like that one. Is there any other facts that you found? Did you find one, Harmony, in there that you thought was interesting?
Even drink salt water.
Yes, I was looking at that one. They drink salt water. I don't know if you've ever tried to drink salt water, maybe by accident if you're in the ocean, but yeah,
Ugh.
nasty, huh? You don't want to drink that. So did you have your hand up, Lizbeth?
Because the sand is on the water.
And it's so salty, it's gross. You don't want to drink that. It would make you sick, huh? So here we have, we'll connect, maybe we can kind of connect these two together like this. This can be number 5. And then this can be number 6. Because this is talking about how they live in these radioactive hot zones and they even drink salt water. So very good. Now we have our 6 interesting that we decided together, interesting facts about the Gobi Desert. So from here, we're going to transfer what we underlined to our outline. And just a little quick reminder, this is about deserts. So that's your subject right here, deserts. And you have 2 topics. One topic is the Sahara Desert. The other topic is the Gobi Desert. So those 2 topics become your paragraphs for your report. Now, this report is only 2 paragraphs long. So this week, you're going to work on this one. And then you'll be finished with your report because it's only 2 paragraphs long. So let's try to start, since we have some time left, let's start filling in this keyword outline. Same rules as we always have, 3 words. You can use numbers or symbols or abbreviations for free. So the first one here on our article that we read, it says it stretches across southern Mongolia and northern China. So how can we put that in our outline? Does anybody have any ideas? Right here for number 1. How can we put that in our outline?
Gobi.
Circle a G for Gobi. Say it.
Scroll a G for Gobi.
Yes. Okay, good. Circle the G, and we can circle it right here. And then we can do it here too, a G with a circle around it. That will remind us, oh yeah, the G means Gobi. I like that. Good, Harmony. And then how are we going to describe that it stretches across southern Mongolia and northern China?
Long way. Long line with an arrow.
Oh, like arrows on both sides of the line?
Or
It's just a stretched out line.
Like this, maybe?
a
Is that what
stretched
you mean?
line. Stretch.
Like it's stretched. That the symbol right there, like it's stretched. I
Is that
think of
right?
like,
Is that right? Say
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Good.
It's tricky.
Yes,
Maybe I know.
I like it. So the G for Gobi, and then we got these arrows for stretches. We can remember that. It stretches across, and we probably need Mongolia and China. Those are important words in our fact, right? And we have enough to do 3 words. So you got an idea, Jaina? No? How about we do southern Mongolia, or not Magnolia, Mongolia. I've probably been saying that this whole time. Mongolia. And then maybe an N for northern and China. What if we did that? What if we did this? Southern Mongolia.
Right, small, so
And then that's 2 words. And then maybe an N for northern or north China. So we got the G representing Gobi, stretches, that I like that idea, Harmony, stretches across, we can remember that, southern Mongolia and northern, all the way from southern Mongolia to northern China.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so Lizbeth, I'm going to have you try to do the second one. Look at number 2. It starts right here with Himalaya. Himalaya mountains block clouds from bringing rain to the Gobi. So how can we do that? with just 3 keywords.
Yeah.
Lizbeth's going to work on that, unless you need help, Lizbeth, and then we can get somebody else to help.
I think clouds.
Okay.
Um, rain.
Okay.
And, bringing.
Listen to what they say. Just listen.
Bringing, is that what you said? Clouds, rain, bringing. That's a good thought, but it kind of makes it sound like the clouds do bring rain, though. But in here it says that the mountains block the clouds. So I think we probably need,
Mountains.
yeah, the Himalaya. What if we did Himalaya and then we drew some mountains? What do you think about that? Yeah?
Yeah.
Start with that.
That's it.
Let's try that. And if you girls have a different idea, you can go with what you're thinking too. This is just if you need help coming up with something. Himalaya, need that word. And then let's do some mountains. That's my best effort at mountains right there. You could probably draw better mountains than me. Okay, Himalaya mountains. Now we have enough for 2 more words or symbols. What else do you think we should put, Lizbeth? Yeah, that's good. Those are better mountains than mine. I like it. How can we explain that they block the clouds?
Block.
You think we should use the word block? Yeah, okay. What do you think, Lizbeth? And maybe we could draw a cloud. That's pretty easy to draw. Yeah, okay. Block cloud. That's pretty easy. I have another idea. That's good, Lizbeth. I see that. Yes, very good. Have you ever, I think we've talked about this before. Have you ever been to the beach before and you saw a picture of like a sign that has a drawing of a dog and then it has a circle around it and a line through it? Do you know what that means when you see that? Lizbeth, what does that mean?
It means no dogs allowed.
No dogs allowed. And sometimes the beaches in California, they don't want dogs on the beach. So what if we put the word rain and then we circle it and draw a line, like meaning no rain? Lizbeth likes that idea. Like this.
Yeah.
That means the Himalaya mountains block the clouds and then it's keeping it from raining or it doesn't allow it to rain or however you want to say that, but that'll help you remember that. I see how you did that, Lizbeth. That's okay too, if that helps you remember. Okay, that's pretty good for our second fact. Let's see if we can do one more. Let's look at number 3. How about Jaina? How about you help us with this one? The first known fossilized dinosaur eggs were found. How can we put that in our outline for number 3? Oops, you're muted if you're talking. Fossilized. What else do we need? Dinosaur. Okay, fossilized dinosaur. What else? Okay, look towards your computer when you say it. It's kind of hard when you turn your head.
Draw an egg and then push. Right, fossilized.
Yeah, I think you said fossilized. What if we did, because it's the first known. What if we put a number 1 and an ST? Have you ever seen first written like that before?
Yeah.
Number 1 like this. And then a little ST at the top, that means first. But I agree, Jana. I think that word fossilized, I think we need it. That's a big keyword, and I don't think we can draw that. So let's put fossilized. I like that. Fossilized, and I think we got to have the word dinosaur. I know you said that. Got to have that. And then I think you had an idea for the egg.
Yeah. Draw an egg.
Draw an egg. Let's see. Draw an egg. That's my egg. Can we remember that's an egg? First fossilized dinosaur egg. We have room for one more word. What do you think we should put, Jana?
Found.
Yes, I agree. Found. Nice. Okay. All 3 of you are doing excellent coming up with your outline here. I like the symbols you have. And sometimes, you know, it's tempting to do a bunch of symbols, but you don't want to do too many. This is about right, though. That looks good, Lizbeth. So we have that it stretches. That was Harmony's idea, to stretch southern Mongolia and northern China. We got the Himalaya mountains, block the clouds, and it doesn't bring rain, or keeping it from raining, or however you want to say that about the rain. And then first fossilized dinosaur eggs found. You girls are doing great. So you only have 3 left. So your homework is going to be to finish this one, number 4, 5, and 6 on your outline, and then to write your paragraph. So your second paragraph will, after you finish that, you'll be finished with your report. And that's when you need to come up with a new title. And remember, we're writing about deserts, but you can pick whatever title you think would be a good title for your report. And it could be something like interesting deserts, or fascinating deserts, or the Sahara and the Gobi, or something like that. So, but make sure that you follow the title rules. Let's look at the checklist one more time. This is page 79. The checklist for deserts. So don't forget, up here it says title, centered, and repeats 1 to 3 key words from your final sentence. That's the last sentence. Now, guess what? The last sentence of your report has 2 jobs. It has the job of being the clincher for the paragraph. Remember how you repeat and reflect 2 or 3 key words. That it has that job, and then it also has the job of making sure it has at least 1 word from the title. Like the title has 1 word from the last sentence at least, or 2 or 3. Okay, so that's your homework. Then you're going to finish your outline and then write that last paragraph, and make sure you finish everything on your checklist. Do you have any questions about homework? No questions? Do you have any questions, Harmony, about homework? If not, you can shake your head no.
No.
Okay, good. So let me stop sharing here, and I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.